Welcome back to AM Northwest. If you're a parent, maybe you can relate to this. You send your child off to summer camp and they come back with a whole new inappropriate vocabulary. Here with helpful tips on how to handle it, we welcome back the author of Staying Connected with Your Teen, family therapist Yshai Boussi. Good to have you with us again. I'm sure a lot of parents experience that their child goes off to do something, summer camp, day camp, play with friends, and they come home and they say something, you're just totally mystified as to how they learn that. But you say one of the first things that you should do is not make a big deal about something that they're saying. It could be a curse word, it could be a gesture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and by not make a big deal, that doesn't mean don't care.
Okay.
And so there's a distinction there.
Sure.
We've got to be careful about how we react to our kids. Sometimes they're testing us to see, is this okay? They know they're pushing the boundaries a little bit, and they're waiting to see how we respond. Other times, they have no idea like what they're saying is really that bad. It's just automatic. They might have heard some friends say it in a playful way, who heard it from someone else, who heard it from someone else.
Right.
And so they're just saying it, not even thinking about it. And so it's important to kind of stay calm and be thoughtful and curious about what's behind that word choice.
I wanted to do this segment because a friend of mine, her 9-year-old daughter, went to a summer camp and then came back and was using the N-word. The daughter is a white girl using the N-word, and the mom was totally like, what do I do about this? I mean, that's something needs to stop right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's different context for these kind of words.
Right.
There's swearing if, for example, you stub your toe. They're swearing at someone in a hurtful way. And there are slurs.
Right.
And these are they're different. And so we do need to have certain red lines, this is not okay. And of course, racial, anti-Semitic, sexual, slurs are unacceptable. But we can't just say that's unacceptable, because then we can just tell kids they don't know why. So we need to really help kids learn why this isn't okay without shaming them. And that part's really important, is separating the person from the language and their behavior. If we blend that up, they're really confused and they think, oh gosh, I'm a bad person now.
Right.
Well, I can't believe I did that. I must be horrible. And we got to make sure we don't let it fall into that category.
But if they're learning things, and I know kids learn things from video games, right? And on the internet, they learn all these wild things that are used constantly.
Right.
Do you give them, let's say it's the N-word, just as an example, history behind it? I guess it depends on their age, right?
But there's age, developmentally appropriate learning it at any age. So absolutely. And sometimes it's a wake-up call for us as parents to educate ourselves. I need to understand this a little more so I can help explain this to my kid.
Right.
Why this word is not okay, especially if you're not a member of that community.
Right.
And so there is an opportunity to find a book that's developmentally appropriate and sit down together. And this is almost like think of it as like a natural consequences. You're not punished, but the consequences, we're gonna sit down and read a book together and learn about this.
You say this is really a good time then to sit down and have a conversation in general about gender, race, sex, consent, all of that.
They're gonna learn it, they can learn it from us, or they can learn it from the internet and their peers. And so I know that sounds a little harsh, but that is kind of the reality of the world we're in, is they are paying attention and getting false information, really harmful information, unintentionally. They're not bad kids, you're not a bad parent, but the world, there's so much bad information and there's so much malicious information out there. So we need to curb it. It's an opportunity to think about our boundaries. Am I giving them too much unfettered time on the internet? Do I need to think about kind of reining that in, because what are they watching? What rabbit holes are they going down? So we do have to pay attention. So I think it's really important.
Would you consider then who they're hanging out with too?
Absolutely. Yeah. They're so impressionable.
Right.
We know children are they pick up mannerism, not just words. They pick up mannerisms, body language, tone. They act out, how a mommy or a daddy might act based on what they observe.
Yeah,
and so
and you are big on careful what you do and what you say.
We all have to take an honest look in the mirror.
Yeah.
We think they're not paying attention. They're paying attention. They hear how we talk on the phone to somebody. They hear us in the other room. So we might be using language that we think, well, I'm an adult or I'm in this context, but we might need to be careful if we have a kiddo who's mimicking that,
right,
and they might not understand the distinction. We're saying you can't talk like that, but I can. That can be kind of confusing to them. So we might need to kind of check ourselves a little bit with compassion, but also honesty, and be like, okay, I think I need to probably watch myself.
When it comes to swearing, you say it also depends the context of how you use it. Like if you hurt yourself and you swear and then your child does the same thing.
There's some subjectivity here. I mean,
right,
sometimes it's like if my kid, says certain types of words that are maybe others would consider swear words, I'm okay with it as long as it's not coming out in a way that's harming others or
right,
out of anger. Other parents are going to say find a clear line of no words at all. So I think there is some context around it. What's the energy behind it? And then your personal values as a family. Again, the most important, don't get too lost in the words. Think about the character of your child, their morals, their values, how they treat people. Are they kind? If
right,
we're get too caught up on chasing language, then we can lose sight of them as a person, and then maybe they just go underground and decide, okay, I won't use that language in front of you, but as soon as you're gone, they're not necessarily learning, or
yeah,
they start to think they're bad because of the words that come out of their mouth.
Well, and as you mentioned too, I mean, so much is available out there. It could be even the news where you're hearing the anti-Semitic words being used,
right,
that kind of thing, right?
Right, absolutely, and music, and it's just there's so much in mainstream
music,
culture, that they're being exposed to, and we're not going to eliminate all of that unless we choose to live in a cave or something.
Right.
So we have to inoculate them. We have to help them think through it. And we also have to sometimes lower our reactivity to it and learn ourselves. Think about context, not just black and white. Yes, good word, bad word. And so be open to learning together with our kids, helping them develop their own internal moral compass so they can separate fact from fiction. That's not okay.
Yeah.
That is okay. So they can think critically and not just follow the rules so they don't get in trouble.
Right, gotcha. We want to tell everyone that your book again is titled Staying Connected with Your Teen. Yshai Boussi, thank you again.
Thanks for being here.
All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.